The vast emptiness of space stretched before the exploration vessel Harmony as it glided through the stars. Commander Vex stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes fixed on the main view screen. The unexpected signal had been puzzling the Galactic Council for weeks now. It came from an unexplored sector, persistent and clearly artificial, yet following no known pattern used by spacefaring species. "We're approaching the source coordinates, Commander," reported Navigator Trill, her tendrils pulsing with anticipation. "Proceed with caution. Keep our sensors at maximum range," Vex ordered. The Harmony was the pride of the Council fleet, sleek, efficient, and almost entirely automated. Its curved hull housed the most advanced technology in known space, guided by sophisticated artificial intelligence that made space travel as safe and predictable as possible. The signal grew stronger. Suddenly, Scanner Officer Moole gasped. "Commander, I'm detecting multiple vessels ahead." The view screen shifted, and the bridge crew fell silent. Before them floated what could only be described as a collection of metal containers welded together. 5 ships of varying sizes moved in formation, their hulls patched in places with visibly different materials. Exposed antennas jutted at odd angles, and primitive thrusters periodically fired to maintain their position. "Are those spaceships?" asked Trill, unable to hide her disbelief. Vex leaned forward. "It appears we found a new spacefaring species." His voice held the practiced calm of a seasoned commander, but inside, curiosity burned brightly. The vessels before them defied everything he knew about proper spacecraft design. "They're transmitting a message on multiple frequencies," Communications Officer Drull announced. "It's a basic binary code that translates to a greeting and request for communication." "Open a channel," Vex ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing a creature with 2 eyes, no scales, and strange fur on the top of its head. It wore some kind of fabric covering rather than the environmental suits used by most species. "Greetings. I'm Captain Miller of the Earth vessel Thunderchild *. Welcome to human space." The creature spoke clearly, its mouth forming unfamiliar shapes. Vex performed the universal greeting gesture. "I am Commander Vex of the Galactic Council vessel Harmony *. We received your signal and came to investigate." Captain Miller smiled, showing flat teeth. "We've been broadcasting for months hoping someone would hear us. You're the first aliens we've encountered." Scanner Officer Moole whispered to Vex, "Commander, our scans show these vessels are powered by nuclear fission and chemical reactions. They have no gravitic drives, no quantum stabilizers, and minimal automation." Vex's inner eyelids flickered in surprise. How had these beings achieved spaceflight with such primitive technology? "Would you like to come aboard?" Miller asked. "We're celebrating 5 years since our first interplanetary colony today. Good timing on your part." The bridge crew exchanged glances. Visit that haphazard collection of metal containers. The very thought made Safety Officer Plex twitch nervously. "We would be honored," Vex replied, diplomatic training overriding his concerns. As the Harmony moved closer to the human fleet, more details became visible. The largest ship, the Thunderchild had sections that rotated independently. Pipes and cables ran along its exterior. Most alarming were the visible burn marks and impact dents on its hull. "Commander," Moole said quietly, "these vessels show signs of damage, yet they remain operational." "Perhaps it's decorative," suggested Trill. Vex wasn't convinced. He watched as a small craft launched from the Thunderchild and approached them. Unlike the Harmony's smooth shuttle pods, this craft was angular, with visible propulsion nozzles and manual docking clamps. "Their docking technology is incompatible with ours," reported Plex. "They're suggesting we use environmental suits and transfer through their external airlock." Vex nodded, curiosity now fully overwhelming caution. "Prepare a first contact team. I want to see inside these vessels." As he assembled his team, Vex couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter would change everything the Council thought they knew about spacefaring civilization. These humans had achieved the impossible with technology that should have kept them planet-bound. How? And what other surprises awaited them aboard those oddly terrifying ships? Commander Vex floated through the airlock of the human vessel Thunderchild *, his magnetic boots failing to find purchase on the metal floor. Unlike Council ships with their artificial gravity systems, this section of the human ship was in zero gravity. Captain Miller waited on the other side, somehow standing normally against the floor. "Welcome aboard," Miller said, extending a hand in what must have been a greeting gesture. "Sorry about the gravity situation. We only have it in the rotating sections." Vex and his team awkwardly followed Miller through a narrow corridor lined with pipes, cables, and exposed circuitry. Warning signs in the human language covered various panels and hatches. Everything was so accessible. "Don't your systems require protection?" asked Science Officer Loom, pointing at an open panel where cooling fluid visibly flowed through transparent tubes. Miller laughed. "They're designed that way on purpose. When something breaks, we need to fix it fast." The concept shocked the alien visitors. Council vessels were built with sealed systems that never broke down, managed by artificial intelligence that predicted and prevented failures before they occurred. They passed several humans working with tools, physically altering components of their ship. One was welding a metal plate over what appeared to be a damaged section of wall. "What happened there?" Vex asked, unable to hide his concern. "Micrometeorite impact last month," Miller explained casually. "Punched right through the outer hull. We patched it." The aliens exchanged nervous glances. A breached hull was a catastrophic event in their understanding of space travel. "You continued operating with a hull breach?" Safety Officer Plex asked, his voice rising. "We sealed the section, suited up, and repaired it," Miller said, as if this were perfectly normal. "That's why we have bulkheads and emergency protocols." They entered a large circular chamber with a transparent floor. Below them, Vex could see the stars spinning slowly. The disorienting view made his inner eyelids flutter. "This is Central Hub. The spinning creates our gravity," Miller explained as several more humans approached. "This is our chief engineer, Adams." A small human with dark skin nodded. "I hear you folks are interested in our propulsion systems." "Yes," Loom said eagerly. "Your vessels move in ways our sensors struggle to classify." Adams led them to a viewing port where they could see massive cylindrical structures extending from the ship's core. "Those are our primary engines. Chemical rockets for main thrust, nuclear thermal for sustained burns, and we're testing an experimental ion drive on the port side." Vex stared in disbelief. "You use multiple propulsion types simultaneously." "Redundancy," Adams said with a shrug. "If one system fails, we have backups." The tour continued to a room filled with screens and manual controls. Humans sat at stations, physically operating the ship's systems through buttons, levers, and what appeared to be primitive touch interfaces. "This is our bridge," Miller announced. "Where is your central eye?" asked Vex, looking around for the sleek interface pillars found on Council vessels. Miller looked confused. "We have computer assistants, but humans make the decisions. AI is still experimental technology for us." The implications struck Vex like a physical blow. These beings traversed the deadly void of space with minimal automation, physically repairing their vessels during flight and manually controlling every function. The final shock came when Miller showed them the ship's protective systems. "These are our armor plates," he said, pointing to thick sheets of metal layered over vital areas. "Underneath we have ceramic shock absorbers and internal bracing." "But no energy shields?" asked Plex. "Still theoretical for us," Miller replied. "Instead, we build our ships to take hits." As they moved to a section housing rows of equipment, Vex noticed something truly alarming: escape pods and what Miller called life rafts. "In an emergency, crew can abandon ship," Miller explained. Standard procedure if systems fail beyond repair. The concept horrified the aliens. Council vessels were designed to never fail. The very idea of abandoning ship was unthinkable. As they finished the tour, Vex observed the humans working throughout the vessel. They moved with practiced efficiency, constantly monitoring, adjusting, and repairing their ship. What at first seemed primitive now appeared in a different light. These beings had embraced the dangers of space and designed around them rather than trying to eliminate them. The Thunderchild wasn't just a spacecraft. It was a testament to a species that refused to let the limitations of technology keep them from the stars. An alarm blared through the corridors of the Thunderchild, cutting the tour short. Red lights flashed along the walls, and the humans around them immediately shifted from casual to alert. "Captain to bridge," came a voice over the intercom system. Miller's face hardened. "Duty calls. You're welcome to join us," he said to Vex and his team, already moving with purpose toward the command center. The aliens hurried after him, struggling to keep pace in the unfamiliar artificial gravity. On the bridge, a human officer waited with a grim expression. "Distress call from mining outpost Delta. Pirates hit them 20 minutes ago. 3 ships, heavily armed." Miller nodded, seeming unsurprised. "Set course immediately. Alert the fleet." He turned to Vex. "Commander, you might want to return to your vessel. This could get dangerous." "We would offer our assistance," Vex replied. "The Harmony has advanced defensive capabilities." "Appreciated," Miller said, then began issuing a series of commands that transformed the ship around them. Throughout the Thunderchild, metal shutters slid over viewing ports. Crew members rushed to stations, some donning what Miller called emergency vac suits, bulky garments that apparently protected humans if their atmosphere escaped. Most disturbing was the way sections of the ship began to seal off from one another with heavy doors. "Why are you dividing your vessel?" asked Safety Officer Plex. "Compartmentalization," answered Engineer Adams as he checked a series of gauges. "If we take damage, we don't lose the whole ship." The aliens watched in stunned silence as weapons systems came online. Unlike the elegant energy projectors of council vessels, human weapons were physical. Railguns that fired metal projectiles, missile launchers loaded with explosive payloads, and what Adams called point defense systems, designed to intercept incoming attacks. "We're approaching the outpost," announced the navigation officer. "Pirates still in the area. 3 vessels, Trion class by the look of them." Vex recognized the description. Trion ships were fast raiders with energy shields and beam weapons, advanced technology stolen from various species. "They outgun us," Miller acknowledged calmly. "Standard approach won't work. Let's try attack pattern Bravo." The Thunderchild lurched forward, its engines firing at full capacity. The ship shuddered around them, metal groaning under stress. "Are those sounds normal?" Vex asked nervously. "Ship's talking to us," Adams replied with a grin, "telling us she's working hard." On the main screen, the pirate vessels came into view. Sleek, predatory craft similar in design to council ships. They turned to face the approaching human fleet. "They're charging weapons," reported a sensor officer. "Brace for impact," Miller commanded. The bridge crew secured themselves to their stations. The first energy beam struck the Thunderchild directly. The ship shook violently. Alarms wailed as damage reports flooded in. "Hull breach in Section 8, sealing compartment," shouted someone. Vex expected Miller to retreat, but instead the human captain pushed forward. "Full thrust, get us in railgun range." The Thunderchild accelerated toward the pirates, taking more hits. A secondary explosion rocked the ship. "We've lost the port thrusters," Adams reported. "Switch to auxiliary power and compensate," Miller ordered without hesitation. To Vex's astonishment, the damaged human vessel maintained its course, closing distance with the pirate ships. When they came within range, Miller gave the order. "All weapons, fire." The Thunderchild unleashed its arsenal. Metal slugs from the railguns tore through the first pirate ship's energy shields by sheer kinetic force. Missiles exploded against the second vessel, overloading its defensive systems. The pirates, clearly expecting the humans to retreat after taking damage, seemed confused by the aggressive approach. They attempted to maneuver away, but the human fleet had surrounded them, each ship operating with the same reckless determination. "They're retreating," announced the sensor officer as the remaining pirate vessel disengaged. Miller nodded, satisfaction evident on his face. "Secure from battle stations. Begin damage assessment and casualty report." Only then did Vex realize what had happened. The humans had deliberately absorbed damage to position themselves for a counterattack. They had accepted injury to their ship, and possibly their crew, as an inevitable part of combat. As repair teams rushed through the corridors and medical staff tended to the wounded, Vex watched Miller calmly coordinating the recovery efforts. The commander finally understood what made human ships so terrifying. They were built not to avoid damage, but to endure it, and keep fighting regardless. The Harmony and Thunderchild drifted side by side in orbit around Mining Outpost Delta. Through the viewing port, Commander Vex watched human repair crews working on the exterior of their vessel. They moved with practiced efficiency, replacing damaged armor plates and sealing hull breaches. The battle had ended hours ago, but Vex hadn't been able to stop thinking about what he'd witnessed. "You requested to speak with me, Commander." Captain Miller entered the conference room aboard the Harmony, looking oddly comfortable despite being on an alien vessel. "Yes, I have questions about your ships." Vex gestured to the sensor readings displayed on the wall. "Our scans show your vessel sustained damage that would have disabled or destroyed one of our ships, yet you continued fighting." Miller nodded. "That's by design. Would you mind if Engineer Adams joined us? He can explain the technical aspects better than I can." Minutes later, Adams arrived carrying what appeared to be a physical model of the Thunderchild *, another oddity to Vex, who was accustomed to holographic displays. "This is how we build our ships," Adams began, pointing to various sections of the model. "We assume damage will happen, so we plan for it. But Council ships are designed to prevent damage entirely," Vex countered. "Our shields and avoidance systems make hull breaches extremely rare." Adams smiled. "That works great until it doesn't. What happens when your shields fail?" The question made Vex uncomfortable. Shield failure on Council vessels usually meant catastrophic outcomes. "Our approach comes from Earth's naval history," Miller explained. "For centuries, our ships sailed on water, facing storms and battles. We couldn't control the ocean, so we built vessels that could withstand its fury." Adams pointed to different sections of the model. "We compartmentalize everything. If this section gets breached, we seal it off. Life support, power, propulsion, all have primary systems, backups, and emergency alternatives. But your crew," Vex hesitated, unsure how to phrase his concern. "We train for casualties," Miller said quietly. "Every crew member knows multiple roles. If we lose people in one section, others can take over their duties." The concept horrified Vex. Council ships were designed to protect all crew members at all costs. The idea of continuing a mission after crew deaths was unthinkable. "Look at our control systems," Adams continued, opening a panel on the model. "Most functions can be operated manually if computers fail. We have physical switches, mechanical backups, even analog gauges." "But why?" asked Science Officer Loom, who had joined them. "Surely automation is more efficient." "Automation is great until it isn't," Adams replied. "A human can troubleshoot problems no programmer ever anticipated. We can improvise, adapt." Miller added, "There's an old saying from our early space program: man is the best computer we can put aboard a spacecraft, and the only one that can be mass-produced with unskilled labor." The humans laughed, but Vex found nothing humorous about the statement. It revealed a fundamentally different approach to space travel, one that acknowledged and accepted its dangers rather than trying to engineer them away. "Here's something your scans probably missed," Adams said, pointing to the central section of the model. "We build redundancy into everything critical. Triple backup life support, multiple isolated power systems. Even our hull has layers: outer armor, pressure hull, and internal bracing." Vex considered this information. "So when that energy beam hit your bridge section, we lost the outer armor layer," Miller confirmed. "But the pressure hull held. If it hadn't, we have emergency force fields, and the crew would have sealed their suits. If those failed, we would have evacuated to another bridge station." "You have multiple bridges?" asked Loom, astonished. "Primary, secondary, and emergency control rooms," Adams nodded, "scattered throughout the ship." As the discussion continued, Vex began to understand the philosophy behind human vessel design. Where Council ships were elegant solutions that assumed perfect operation, human ships were complex, redundant systems built around the certainty of failure. Most unsettling was the realization that this approach made human ships not just durable, but adaptable in ways Council vessels could never be. They could sustain damage that would cripple more advanced ships and still complete their missions. When Miller and Adams finally departed, Vex stood alone at the viewing port, watching the Thunderchild *. What had initially seemed primitive now appeared in a different light, not as technological inferiority, but as a fundamentally different approach to surviving the harshness of space. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with nervous energy as representatives from 17 species gathered for Commander Vex's presentation. Holographic displays floated above the central platform, showing detailed scans of human vessels. Council President Morrow, her crystalline form catching the light, called the session to order. "Commander Vex will now present his findings on the newly discovered human species and their spacecraft," she announced. Vex moved to the center of the chamber, feeling the weight of all eyes upon him. 2 weeks had passed since his encounter with the Thunderchild *, and he had spent every moment analyzing the data. "Esteemed representatives," he began, "I come before you with information about a species that challenges our fundamental understanding of spacefaring civilization." The chamber quieted as Vex activated the first display, showing the Thunderchild * in orbit around mining outpost Delta. "Humans have achieved interstellar travel using technology we would consider obsolete. Their vessels lack energy shields, gravitic drives, and quantum stabilizers, yet they are capable of sustained spaceflight and, more importantly, combat operations." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Representative Drex of the Mercantile Alliance rose. "If their technology is inferior, why bring this matter before the full council?" "Because," Vex replied, activating another display, "their approach to spacecraft design represents something entirely outside our experience." The display showed detailed cross-sections of human vessels compared to Council ships. Where Council designs were elegant and streamlined, human ships were complex mazes of redundant systems. Humans build ships that expect damage. They compartmentalize critical systems, maintain manual overrides, and train their crews to operate damaged vessels. During our contact, I witnessed the Thunderchild * sustain damage that would have disabled any Council ship, yet they continued functioning. He played footage from the pirate encounter. The Council members watched in stunned silence as the human vessels absorbed hits, lost systems, and kept fighting. "Most concerning," Vex continued, "is their psychological approach to space travel. Where we seek to create perfect systems that prevent danger, humans accept danger as inevitable and design around it." Defense Coordinator Pax rose next. "Are you suggesting these humans pose a threat to the Council?" "I am suggesting," Vex replied carefully, "that we must reconsider our assessment of what makes a species advanced. Humans achieve through redundancy and resilience what we achieve through sophistication. Their vessels may appear primitive, but they demonstrate an adaptability our ships lack. To illustrate his point, Vex activated a simulation. This shows a standard Council vessel facing cascading system failure after shield penetration. The elegant ship in the simulation quickly became inoperable as one system after another shut down. Now the same scenario with a human vessel. The bulky human ship in the simulation suffered greater initial damage, but remained operational as backup systems engaged and crew members rerouted essential functions. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some representatives argued that humans represented a dangerous anomaly, while others saw potential for technological exchange. Their approach is wasteful, argued Resource Minister Talon. The materials required for such redundant systems saved their ship and crew, interrupted Medical Director Jem. Perhaps there is wisdom in their methods that we have overlooked in our pursuit of perfection. President Morrow raised her hand for silence. Commander Vex, what is your recommendation regarding these humans? Vex considered his answer carefully. I believe we should establish formal relations and begin a technological exchange program. There is much we could learn from each other. As the official debate continued, Admiral Zorn of the Defense Fleet pulled Vex aside. These humans, if they ever decide to build warships with our level of technology, they already consider all their ships warships, Vex replied quietly. Every vessel in their fleet is built to take damage and keep fighting. The Thunderchild is what they call an explorer class. Admiral Zorn's expression darkened. Then we must ensure they remain our allies. As Vex returned to the debate, he noticed several military representatives huddled in conversation. The revelation of human ship design had clearly disturbed them. What would they think if they knew the Thunderchild was considered small by human standards, or that humanity was rapidly expanding its fleet? The colony on Proxima b sparkled against the backdrop of space, its dome habitats catching the light of the red dwarf star. 3 human transports moved steadily toward the outpost, carrying supplies and new colonists from Earth. Captain Miller stood on the bridge of the Thunderchild which had been assigned escort duty. Commander Vex had joined the mission as part of the new exchange program between humans and the Galactic Council. Proximity alert. The sensor officer called suddenly. Multiple vessels dropping out of FTL. 5 ships appeared on the main view screen, their design immediately recognizable to Vex. Hegemony warships. Not pirates this time, but something worse. A militant faction within the Council who believed that humans represented a threat to the established order. They're powering weapons, reported the tactical officer. No response to hails. Miller's face hardened. Battle stations. Move to intercept. Get those transports behind us. The Thunderchild surged forward as alerts sounded throughout the ship. Vex watched the crew snap into their emergency protocols, sealing compartments and preparing weapon systems. Commander, Miller said quietly, you might want to contact the Council. This faction is acting without authorization. Before Vex could respond, the lead hegemony vessel fired. Energy beams lanced across space, striking the Thunderchild's forward section. The ship shuddered violently. Direct hit to forward armor. Sections 3 through 7 reporting damage. Unlike his first experience with human combat, Vex now understood what was happening. The Thunderchild was deliberately taking hits to shield the vulnerable transports. Return fire, Miller ordered calmly. Target their propulsion systems. The human ship's railguns fired, magnetic accelerators launching metal projectiles at velocities that made them nearly impossible to track. The first hegemony vessel's shields flared and failed under the barrage, but the other enemy ships pressed their attack. A second beam tore through the Thunderchild's port side, triggering secondary explosions. We've lost main power, switching to backups. Hull breach in engineering. Emergency teams responding. The damage reports flooded in, yet Miller continued directing the battle with unsettling calm. 2 more human vessels arrived, the Defiant and Relentless, moving to support the Thunderchild. The hegemony ships, clearly expecting a quick victory against primitive human technology, seemed unprepared for the ferocity of the human response. Despite taking significant damage, all three human ships maintained offensive capabilities. "They're targeting our bridge," shouted the tactical officer. "Evacuate to secondary control," Miller ordered. As the bridge crew rushed to alternate stations, a direct hit rocked the ship. Emergency force fields activated as atmosphere vented into space. From secondary control, Miller assessed their situation. Main engines offline. Weapons at 40%. Hull integrity compromised in multiple sections. Vex expected retreat. Any council captain would have withdrawn to preserve their vessel. Instead, Miller exchanged glances with his executive officer. "Ready the Shiva protocol," Miller said. The executive officer's eyes widened. "Sir, that's never been used outside of simulations. The transports need more time to reach the colony's defensive perimeter," Miller replied. "Make it happen." What followed shocked even Vex, who thought he understood human ship design. The Thunderchild began deliberately venting plasma from its damaged engines, creating a cloud around itself. Then, using emergency thrusters, it moved directly toward the lead hegemony vessel. "They're attempting to withdraw," reported the tactical officer. "Too late," Miller said grimly. "Initiate Shiva." The Thunderchild fired its remaining functional engines at maximum capacity, accelerating toward the enemy. The hegemony ship frantically tried to evade, but the human vessel, trailing plasma and debris, slammed into its side. The kinetic impact overloaded the enemy's shields. Both ships spun wildly from the collision. The Thunderchild had sacrificed its forward sections to cripple the enemy vessel. "Seal all breached compartments. Prepare boarding teams," Miller ordered. Vex stared in disbelief. "You're boarding them?" "After ramming their ship." Miller nodded. "Ramming was just to get us close enough. Now we take their ship." As human crews in combat suits prepared to enter the disabled hegemony vessel, the remaining enemy ships began to retreat. They had witnessed something outside their experience, a vessel that used itself as a weapon, and a crew willing to board an enemy after deliberately colliding with it. The message would soon spread throughout the Council. Humans didn't just build ships to take damage. When necessary, they turned damage itself into a weapon. The Grand Assembly Hall on Earth's orbital diplomatic station buzzed with activity. Delegates from 23 species gathered beneath the massive transparent dome that offered a spectacular view of Earth rising over the lunar horizon. 1 year had passed since the incident at Proxima b. The unauthorized attack by the hegemony faction had led to significant changes within the Galactic Council. Commander Vex, now appointed as chief liaison between humans and the Council, stood beside Captain Miller. The Thunderchild having undergone extensive repairs, orbited nearby, a visible reminder of the battle that had changed everything. "The treaty will be signed within the hour," Vex said. "An official alliance between Earth and the Council." Miller nodded, his gaze fixed on the shipyard visible in the distance. There, human engineers worked alongside alien technicians, sharing knowledge that was transforming both societies. "Your ship designs are already influencing Council vessels," Vex continued. "The new hybrid cruisers incorporate human redundancy systems while maintaining our energy efficiency. And we've benefited from your shield technology," Miller replied. "Though our engineers insist on keeping the armor underneath." They shared a knowing smile. The cultural exchange program had revealed much about both societies. Humans remained committed to their philosophy of resilience, even as they adopted more advanced technologies. The Council races, meanwhile, had begun incorporating backup systems and manual controls into their formerly automated vessels. A young officer approached them. "Captain, Commander, they're ready for you in the briefing room." The two followed her through corridors where humans and aliens worked side by side. Inside the briefing room, high-ranking officials from Earth and the Council gathered around a holographic display showing the edge of the galaxy. Admiral Chen nodded to Miller and Vex as they entered. "We've confirmed the readings. Whatever they are, they're heading toward Council space." The hologram showed dozens of objects moving in perfect formation. They had appeared 3 months ago, emerging from intergalactic space. All attempts at communication have failed. "Our long-range scans detect no recognizable technology," said Council Science Director Loom. "Their hulls absorb our sensor probes rather than reflecting them." "How long until they reach the outer colonies?" Miller asked. 4 months at their current velocity," replied a human scientist. "They're slowing as they approach the galactic rim." Admiral Chen changed the display to show the joint fleet being assembled to meet this unknown threat. The image made Vex pause. Where once the Council and human vessels would have seemed mismatched and incompatible, now they complemented each other. Sleek Council ships with their advanced energy systems flew alongside bulkier human vessels with their redundant compartments and physical armor. "The Thunderchild will join the forward reconnaissance group," Miller said, pointing to their assignment on the display. "Alongside the Council vessel Unity added Vex. The Unity represented the newest generation of Council ships, incorporating lessons learned from human design philosophy. As the meeting concluded, Miller and Vex returned to the observation deck. Below them, Earth continued its silent rotation, while around them, the combined fleet prepared for the unknown threat. "A year ago, many in the Council thought human ships were primitive," Vex said quietly. "Now they request human vessels on the front line of our defense." Miller smiled. "Not because we're more advanced, but because we're built differently. Your ships are faster, more efficient, more powerful. But when something goes wrong, your ships keep fighting," Vex finished. "When shields fail and systems crash, a human vessel remains in the fight." They watched as a massive Council battleship moved into formation with 3 human heavy cruisers. The contrast was striking. The alien vessel gleaming and elegant, the human ships rugged and imposing. "The enemy, whoever they are, will face something they couldn't possibly prepare for," Miller said. "Technology they've never encountered combined with design philosophies from 2 entirely different evolutionary paths." Vex nodded in agreement. "The unknown visitors might have superior technology or overwhelming numbers. But as I've learned from humans, it's not always about having the most advanced ship. It's about having the ship that refuses to die," Miller finished.